Hola, and welcome to Power and Perspective. I just had to walk fast, people, so I'm like out of breath. Like just walking upstairs. I am April. I don't know where Aaron's at tonight.
Pick it. You have to pick a
This is
direction. You have to pick a direction.
I was going. This is Aaron.
One more time.
This is Aaron. The side of me or you below me?
No, I'm to the side. Yeah, we're in the two.
Must be
Yeah,
that way.
there you go.
Okay. This is Aaron.
Couldn't see your finger, but we're good. Your backgrounds are getting very aggressive, apparently.
We reframe conversations with empathy and humor. It's the humor part, and it's Oh, am I allowed to sing that? Great. Good time. I changed it. Did you see that?
Yeah, the algorithm just had a stroke. We're good.
Yeah. It's like oh wait, that's no, that's not a song. Oh no, it is. No, it's not a song. See?
What we're celebrating, by the way,
That's how I
is
roll.
it's officially our first anniversary. Oh, yeah. As of yesterday, we've been doing these shenanigans for a year now. Not.
Can you believe that? Right? And we're still just like, I feel like you probably don't feel like this, but I feel like we're still just practicing. Like, okay, how do we do these
I feel
things,
that way with
right?
like anything that I do. Like no matter at what point you're at, you're always just practicing.
Okay.
But that's how you get better, right? That's why we have a fancy wheel that we can show and still have our voices over it, because I'm not an idiot today. But just today. No expectations for anybody listening.
Yeah, hopefully. Are they saying that you're still there? Because
what?
You said that everybody could still hear us. Do you know for that for sure?
I saw the audio levels. Yeah. I added us and did all the testing. I don't know
how fancy things work, dude. Because I can't even get stream on the right screen. Like I'm a hot,
and apparently
it's a bit choppy.
Ugh.
Practicing is what doctors do.
It's infuriating right now. But hopefully it's a problem with my machine, and we will be better next week because I have a brand new computer ready to take its place.
Woo woo. Yeah, and it could be my internet too, because I can't even watch us. I was gonna try to watch us so I could see the wheel, but forget it. Yeah, doctors can practice. We can practice.
Yeah, right. And we're far more professional, from my experience.
Duh.
Yeah. So just for anybody watching that's not prepared for this, we have a nice wheel of topics that we're gonna go through. And you know what? I should have gotten a timer to limit ourselves to 15 minutes. I did not do that. So next time
we have our phones. Oh, you mean a timer on the
screen?
I think this is our first time. So I think it should be max 15 minutes. If we get bored of something, we're going to change it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that we could cover everything that needs to be said. Because some of these are
in
like
5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to be going.
But
just talk really, really fast.
That said, you want to just dive into it?
No, because you didn't say it right. So today we're doing the Wheel of Randomness.
You have to remember, you're the excitable
now
one. I'm the straight man here.
Yeah,
I can't engage.
He's like, we're doing a wheel of different topics here tonight, and let's just jump right in.
It's my role. I sit here and I make faces. That's my role. But all right, let's see if this, we're gonna jump over to it. Oh, and I should have full screened it first. All right. And if we can get like F's in the chat, if everything seems to be working okay and everybody can hear me, that'd be great.
Why F's?
Don't ask. It's not worth it.
I would like spin.
Well, I'm not getting any feedback, but we'll get there. We're spinning the wheel.
Is it
now.
spinning?
It's spinning now. Yes.
I don't get to see the wheel, guys, in case you guys wondered.
And it looks like we're starting with retirement.
Oh, that's really fun.
Which is great, because I don't know.
You know what? Let's talk about retirement.
Go ahead.
I think it's pure shenanigans that you work until you're like 70, and then you get to retire and you explore the world when you're like super old. Like, I think retirement should be like in the middle, maybe, or something.
Reverse retirement.
Actually, you know what? Like, or some other countries that when you go on holiday, it's like you get a month off, and like that's normal. Whereas in America, you're sick in the hospital bed saying, "Sorry, I'm out sick. Feel free to call or message anytime. Like, I'm in my hospital bed. I'll answer."
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, that's a cultural thing for sure, because we also don't get large breaks in the middle of the day, and all that.
Right?
I mean, it's hard to like find an argument one way or the other, because you have to sacrifice things regardless. Things
like
have to be sacrificed. Well,
you think you sacrifice
productivity? I don't think productivity is it. Except that's probably any business's argument is its productivity.
Time on task.
Yeah. Yes.
It's time on task, but if I bet you get the same amount done. Because I can't tell you how many times, like in a job where not teaching, like I'm like just comatose. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking of anything, because like my brain needs to take a break. This is why teachers are so tired, because we don't get that.
Well, I mean, there are organizations doing those studies to say that the 5-day work week is counterproductive.
Agreed.
And they're trying to push for a cultural shift in that way. Which, I mean, hey, if it works out, great. Like, if everybody's happier and there is more productivity, that'd be great. I mean, everybody would win, and the only thing we have to do is disrupt centuries of cultural tradition.
Of programming.
Yeah, programming is the word that we can use, I guess.
I'm calling it programming tradition. Tradition schmission.
But
also,
no, you
go ahead. No, you go.
Okay.
No, you go.
So
no, you go.
I think retirement is one of those things that, and with the sake of not disrupting our current status quo here, that people aren't taught about enough at a young age, and what it is that they need to be doing to prepare for it. I mean, we've talked about financial literacy 100%. And everything else, but there's a significant part of that where you have to spend part of your mental energy and part of your money planning for a time in which that you cannot work.
And it's taught at a disproportionate. So you have a lot of investment disadvantage if you're low socioeconomic status, obviously, because your parents aren't teaching about it, and traditionally women, right? And I would people of color, but I don't know that for sure. I think that's based on socioeconomic status, but sometimes I'm wrong about that. But like, if your family doesn't invest, then you're probably not going to know anything about investing.
I mean, I certainly didn't.
I still know nothing, and I don't invest. Mostly because I'm a teacher, so I have no money. Like my daughter is about to turn 18. She has been working. She probably makes more than a first year teacher. And she's like, so I have like $10,000 in the bank now. I think that I should invest some of it.
All of it.
Like, you were so well. She's about to go to college.
Well, if she's gonna pay for things, I mean that makes sense. But if it's money that's just sitting there,
yeah. No, well, she's been
gotcha.
saving it for college, but luckily for her, I also stayed poor as a sacrifice, so she's getting a lot of money for college. Yeah. You're welcome, Sage. Save this video when you're old, show it to your children. But let me tell you about something about retirement that might make you as angry as it makes me, or probably not. Am what's considered a state employee, right? So I get PERS, so it's a state funded whatever. So they don't take Social Security out of my
Does that
checks.
stand for something?
PERS, public
employee retirement system.
Employee retirement system.
I'm just gonna go.
Good job,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Even if it's not right.
Yeah, public employee retirement system. That's right. Employee. So our money goes there. But I've also clearly worked other jobs that did take Social Security out, right? Do you know what happens when I retire? Let's say I worked 10 years of a Social Security job, right? But get the same amount as someone who worked 10 years just of a Social Security job. They get more money than I do because I have PERS, which is ridiculous because that shouldn't affect anything.
Well, I mean, if you want a reason not to be angry, a bright side to look on, is that a lot of us are going to end up getting screwed there anyway.
But they've been saying that forever.
But it's going to come to a head because the money's not there. So unless they decide to continue to inflate the currency for the sake of Social Security.
But they could pay welfare. No one said, I think welfare is going to run out of money.
No, because they keep paying. But I mean, Social Security is theoretically this flat thing where you have the people that are working paying into the system to pay for the people who are obtaining Social Security, right? A theoretically closed system. And it's an issue that has happened in the past where the number of retirees outnumber the number of people paying into Social Security, and it becomes a bigger issue because it has to do with the way it's funded. So unless they change the way it's funded or anything else, at some point we're all going to be screwed. I mean, we're all going to be screwed anyway.
I had a offensive thought that, I mean, what you need is less retirees.
That gets into a whole other thing that I certainly haven't broached on this show about the need for people to die. Like, dying is part of life. And
yeah, Aaron said it. I'm just saying, like, maybe the U.S. government was like, oh, that's weird. I just got your text. Maybe the U.S. government was like, guys, we need less retirees. So how are we going to do this? They're like, I know, COVID, and blame it on the Chinese.
Steven's right there with you.
Yes, Steven said it right. He said hashtag too soon.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a backwards thing to think about and a difficult thing to think about. But when you talk about extending people's lives, right, extending our lives as people, if we get, like, say we increase the average lifespan by 10 years, but that extra 10 years is spent as an invalid, like, is it worth that extra 10 years? And where do we draw the line? And how do you know? And
how do we decide? Like, that's,
I mean, that's why assisted suicide should be legal, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's not up there. I'm writing it down for next time,
Jacob said we need a reversal on the retirement. You should be able to retire from 18 to 30 and then work until you die.
Except for that, what kind of work are you going to do when you're like 90? Unless you're William Shatner or Betty White.
At Walmart. I mean,
who apparently don't age.
That is true. I'm interested to see crap, what's his name? It's Rob something. Who's the guy that doesn't age? Yes,
Rob
that's
Lowe?
the one. Yeah, Rob Lowe.
I don't know
age.
Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Look at me. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, he doesn't age, so it'll be interested to see. But All right, this is going very poorly as far as staying on topic goes.
That was
Yes, it
all
was all
about
about
retirement.
Yeah.
Talking
Just
about
like when we have to
did you want
retire
to
our
feel
animals
again?
sometimes when they're sick. Um,
There you go.
I was just reading somebody's Facebook post about retiring a horse. And it was not killing. It was literally they were no longer viable for work. So they got a new home with other horses and they get to wander around and eat grass for the rest of their lives and get love and all those things.
It's a happy
Yeah.
horse life.
And they don't have to work
Yeah.
anymore.
Sometimes retirement's, let's talk about that really quick. Sometimes retirement's not all it's cracked up to be.
I mean, I guess it depends on your definition, like, of what retirement really is. But if it is a life without, like, work, right, where you're sustained by whatever, there are a lot of people that don't have hobbies and things that could fill their time and everything else, and they just
I think it's a life of choice.
Fair enough.
A life of choice. Right? Choose the work that you do versus have to do something to make the money.
Well, and I think there's probably a reasonable conversation we could have about that, about how you should make all of your life filled with work that you want to do.
With choice. Yeah. Yes. And choice. And Jacob says universal income. I'm writing that down too, because I am not opposed to that. But as Aaron will say, which is also true, they'll just raise the prices of everything.
Well, it's complicated. And I mean, it's the second thing that we've talked about that brings Andrew Yang back into the conversation, talking about 4-day work weeks and now universal basic income. I think
let's give him a chance.
Complicated, and I think that it should be used as if it's going to be used, it should be used as a stopgap measure, transitioning into a better system. I don't think that it would work as a long-term solution. Okay. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, we have to look at why housing is so expensive relative to incomes and everything else, how all of that has increased exponentially.
Ridiculous.
Things like that all are things that need to be addressed. And we can't just say we don't want to address those things, so universal basic income.
Well, that's true. The people who don't want to address those things are the rich people who it doesn't affect and actually who benefit from it. So
yeah.
Suck it, rich people. That's my other.
I thought we were supposed to have empathy on the show. Isn't that part of it? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, empathy. I empathize with you rich people.
And yeah, like Monique says, similar to canine police dogs that end up getting adopted when they can no longer work.
I would like to be adopted by a police officer in my old age. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, as long as you do. Yeah.
And taken care of and protected.
And fed and given cuddles whenever you want. And sometimes even being the aggressor and forcing cuddles upon people.
Yeah. Are we spinning the wheel?
All right. We're moving on to the next topic here. I think we've reached. I'm going to try to do this a little more cleanly this time, and hopefully everybody can still hear us. So here we go. Spin number 2. Oh, and it's a little glitchy too. This is not good. Yeah, I definitely need that new computer.
Yeah, it's all right. It's our first wheel.
All right. So you put this on here, CDC and laws.
No, somebody else put it on there. So what they asked was why the CDC can make different laws for different states, but they can't.
So the CDC and I need everybody to bear with me because I'm not an expert in this, but I think it is an executive agency. So what happens is because Congress has way too much work to do because they're all putzes, they delegate power to regulatory agencies that are governed by the executive branch. So they are given they are given limited authority under the scope of their mission to create. Well, we'll just start with mandates as just a thing. If it falls within the scope of their authority that was granted to them by Congress, then they have power to do that.
But for every state, they do it for every state. And I think what this person might have been, sometimes they'll make a recommendation, right? And then each state can decide how to enforce that.
Yeah, and or choose not to. Like the recommendations mean nothing. And it's very dangerous to take those recommendations and people are going to get, everybody in the world's going to be pissed off at me for saying things like this. But studies, like the way studies are done can be dangerous I was just actually watching a video
yeah.
about how peer review is not necessarily as strong a part of the publishing part of the whole thing. Like when people are doing their doctorates and such, and they're writing papers, or people who get paid to write papers, they disincentivize like retrials. So if you wanted to recreate the same experiments that somebody did, right, and publish the findings to try to maybe disprove something else, there's no financial incentive in that, and they are actively disincentivized to do that. And it's a very dangerous thing, because those studies, because they're published, and sometimes incentives don't match up with what we would all expect, and they need to be retested, but there's no incentive to retest them.
And not what's the opposite of incentive?
De-incentivized. Yeah.
Disincentive.
Disincentive.
I don't like that word. Yeah.
You don't like disincentive? I think it's a fun word, and how dare you?
It's yeah, thank you, Monique. Because I'm so tired of everything being about money. It's so ridiculous. That's why I just want to just move out and under the trees and grass, and I don't know. But also I like airplanes too, so I can't complain.
What just happened?
Because it's a human thing versus a nature thing, right?
Okay.
Like I want nature isn't about money, but also I like
you just want to you should. And I was having this conversation with somebody at work actually on this topic. They were talking about people needing to be vaccinated, and through the course of the conversation, he got to the point where it was about his kids. Like, he wanted to protect his kids. He thinks everybody should be vaccinated because his kids shouldn't be at risk. And I was explaining to him, like, that's not really how risk management works, that it's incumbent upon you to manage your own risk in our society, right? So if you want to manage that risk out of your life, you're welcome to move into the middle of nowhere and homestead and start farming and have zero interactions with people at large. So, I mean, that's really the solution for doing that. So you're not wrong. Like, that's what you should do if you want to get away. If there's anything you want to get away from that's part of our society at whole, as at large, like, there are options available to you, but there are also sacrifices that you have to make.
Yeah.
And you don't get all the luxuries of urban living and and all that. Luxuries. And I mean, sometimes if it means that you have to drive 2 hours to work, like, is it worth it? You should probably consider it worth it if that's a priority in your life.
Yeah. And you get to, and that's what's great about America, is you get to decide that and make those decisions.
Well, I mean, that's, and I would say a good portion of the developed world that's the case, where you're not actually being forced into areas to live in and work to choose. Like, there are issues around the world, but I don't think that's
well, I mean, not being forced, I guess, per se, but we have a lot more flexibility here because of the opportunities, right? So, like a person, let's say if I live in a house with 10 other people in India, I don't have a lot of.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's why I clarified.
And there are some people here in America like that, but
there's a lot of issues. Yeah, that's a whole podcast in itself.
In lots of countries. I'm just saying, we're lucky. Embrace it. You won't hear me say that
one
very often.
One of the big advantages we have as a country is space, right? We cover so many different like available biomes in the world, where you can, if you want a particular kind of weather, there's a good chance that you can move to somewhere in the United States that has weather that suits you, where most other places,
right? That's why we had to throw Alaska and Hawaii in there.
That's why
we want to cover all the bases. So so let's buy some Alaska, let's buy some Hawaii.
I want to be in that room where they had that conversation.
Be in the room where it happens. The room where it happens.
Yes, USA is Minecraft in real life.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Minecraft.
Oh, we're going again. We're going again. Hold on.
Yeah. We got off. We
Yeah,
weren't
I
even
mean, we
on
were
it.
for a minute. We were talking about, well, and we've got other stuff on here. We'll cycle back to it anyway.
Get get back to all that.
And we are on. All right, here we go. The stock market. Another one. I don't know why
Oh,
precisely it's on here or what the question was regarding. Ah,
people people don't know anything about it. That's what it is. Like people don't understand it. People don't know anything about it. And on from my perspective, back to like this would be a nice thing to teach. Can we put a whammy on there so someone in chat will pick
yes,
it?
absolutely.
Yes.
Actually, really, I mean, I
Yes,
feel like we're
Jacob.
in a position where you can do whatever you want, and we'll just have it take
Yeah, so
over.
you could just throw out a what he's saying is you could throw out a topic at
Yeah,
any time.
there is no overlord here. Um,
Wow.
so I mean, the whole idea of it, right, is early on is that you could raise money by selling part of your business. Like if you had business partners, you would separate the business into smaller parts, and you would have multiple ownership roles.
And it's like it's people investing in your business.
And
That I get.
so that's where it started, and you get to the point where it grows to where we're at right now, where for a lot of companies that ownership, almost no matter how much you have, isn't meaningful. And even if it were, most of the people that own shares in any company should not be listened to for any business decisions.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be argued that the development path that it's taken is perfect and has been done correctly. The problem you run into is people who speculate and people who aren't in it for ownership, because you talk about like day traders and stuff, and there's a lot of argument to be made on both
Yeah.
sides there. And I'm not a part of it. I don't trust the stock market because I mean, except for long horizon stuff, like it's erratic. Yeah.
Which is what they say. They say that, and it's like if you're in it for the long haul, then you pick long haul or medium haul stocks, and then you'll
Yeah,
be good.
it's the Warren Buffett method essentially. Is
Yeah.
you buy and
Yeah.
hold, and that's the way it works. And there are people who believe that, and people who don't. And I mean, there are advantages to
People who make money
chaos.
both
Yeah,
ways.
and the
Yeah.
advantages to chaos is chaos generally normalizes things. Chaos will help find a natural level where things are intended to be. Where over time, things can get skewed a little bit. So there's, I mean, yeah, I mean it's a complicated thing, but I mean it accomplishes for most people what we all want to accomplish. Anybody that's got a 401k is very likely invested in stock. Anybody who's probably your PERS, is there stock related in that, or is it private holding stuff? That's stuff you should
Maybe this
find
is
out for your own
yeah.
sake.
Well, this is the kind of thing that I think should be taught more in school, right? Like they say, like change your oil, whatever. But I can pay someone to change my oil. I don't even know how to change my own oil. But stock market stuff, I feel like even if I went to look it up myself, I wouldn't even. It's such a big time. I wouldn't even know where to start. Even if I started stock market for dummies, I'll start reading it because I'll not care because it doesn't relate directly to me, right? So, but if it was a class I took in high school that I learned the basics about, and not just what the stock market is, how you choose to invest and what that means and what is a share and things
Yeah, I
like
mean, it
that.
would definitely be helpful. It's not really that difficult when you choose to, like, if you choose to dive into it, right? And yeah,
So it's perfect for high.
and they have, and it's perfect because a lot of the programs that you see where they do address it, I think it's usually like after school programs and like uh, what is it,
Uh-huh.
FBLA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where they get into that, they can do mock stuff. Like there are plenty of places where you can do
Yeah.
fake money, and you can actually see how all of it works over time,
Yeah.
and over the course of a year, and try to find ways and to analyze business practices, right? And you can choose, and there are lots of ways to do this. Like you can find businesses that have similar ethics, like you can find companies who are actively going green and things like that, and it's all kind of the same. Like
Yeah.
our economy right now, right this second, on October 20th 2021, for the sake of posterity, is growing and has a habit of growing, and even after collapse it rebounds quickly and just continues to grow and make all new highs, right?
Yeah.
So I mean there's all there is statistical support for investing in the long term, like finding companies that you believe in that have existed for a long time, blue chips. Even if you just invest in whatever Warren Buffett's in, that you will make money. You're not going to become the next Warren Buffett, but it'll pay for your cruises once you hit 80.
Well, I'm about to say something mildly controversial, but I think, for example, like right now, high school students are required to take a multicultural credit, right? And college students, some college students are required to take a multicultural credit, right? Or a what is the other word they call it? There's another word. Anyway, a lot of times it's their foreign language class that covers that. But they're required to take a multicultural. I think we take that away. I think we're at the point where like we've started the snowball rolling for multicultural and diversity, like acknowledgement that the society has taken need to be so involved anymore, and make a life skills investing class or something. You know what I mean?
Well, there was a time where the idea of home economics. I don't.
Yeah.
I've never been in a home economics class. The only exposure I have is through television and shit, where they talk about baking and shit. So I mean, it seems like that class would be about budgeting, right, and running a household.
Yeah, now
like, that would be.
Yeah, but remember, home economics when it first started was for females and their role in the home, and their role in the home was childcare, cooking, sewing, right? But now the roles have changed. So there's no reason why we couldn't have a current home economics class.
Yes. I mean, and that should be where it starts. And I mean, there's a chance that you should start that in middle school. And for the sake of saying it, I think there's value in being exposed to other languages. But I think by high school that value doesn't exist as far as a mandatory requirement.
Yeah, those should start. The foreign language should start way earlier. I think that's how they do it in other countries where they're successful.
Well, that's where you get the most value. Like your brain is the most flexible. You're less set in your linguistic patterns.
Yes. How many of you guys have taken a foreign language in high school and still cannot speak it fluently? How many of you have taken 4 years in high school and 2 years in college and still know nothing?
There's at least one person here that I know of.
Yeah. Right?
Sure.
But in other countries, that's because you can.
No, I practiced that before when you were gone, and I thought I was gonna have to do the intro. Yeah, I practiced it. Yeah.
Oh. But like in other countries, they start English. Most other countries, they speak 2 languages because they speak their language and English, and they teach it starting in like elementary school. So, like, why? If we're gonna steal crap, let's steal the good crap.
And it seems like it's like, and so if I were to get into a class in middle school, if I were to get into, I'm gonna use this for an example because it's easy, like a Korean class, right? The way that our media has developed, we have a lot of Korean language media. Like you can go on Hulu and watch Squid Games, or any other Korean drama, which is a big thing. As far as I understand.
Trust me, I know. My daughter watches it nonstop. And like, she's like, which I kind of like because she has to read subtitles and like it's good practice for reading. But it's so weird.
But it's reinforcement. Anyway, like you start at an early age and then you have a means with which to reinforce. Because if I learn Spanish in middle school and I don't speak Spanish to anybody for the next 10 years, what good has it done me?
Right? When I went to Nicaragua, a lot of my Spanish started coming back to me. And when we were in this city, I remember thinking, I could do this. I could come here and I could make it like on my own. We had a translator with us, but I could make it on my own. Like I know enough where I think I could ask where things are. Like I can't sit and have a philosophical discussion with you because I can only order beers and tell you your dog is pretty, but like I can make it. But now again, I'm back to
and the good news is that we have special resources that help us these days.
Yeah, that's true. I
But
know
the
anime
point
is
being
lazy.
is that invest in your future by learning other languages.
I was gonna say, isn't it great that we don't have to stay on topic?
Because when you retire and you go to other countries, which you should do, you will need to know other
We're on the
languages.
stock market. You know, we're on stock
Oh
market, not
shit! Yeah,
retirement.
we're coming back around. Yeah, invest in your future. Learn another language.
Ben, no,
This has
Bill.
gotten completely out of hand. All right, hold on. I'm gonna do this correctly this time for the first time ever.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. And I really hope the sound comes through because the clicking is spectacular. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I don't want to
The
hear it.
media.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
what was the nature? What was the nature of
Empathy and
this one?
compassion. Just the purpose,
Okay.
the is there any control at this point? Like what you could just spin anything any way you want to spin it. And wouldn't it be great? Let's just imagine a world if we all could for a moment. Imagine a world where the media just shared facts.
Well, I
Hmm.
mean, I guess the issue you're dealing with there is that who is there to watch it? If it's just facts,
They don't.
will anybody watch it?
Oh, they you think facts are boring?
Yeah,
Is
this
that
is
what you're
not to
saying?
me. I'm talking about. I'm speaking on the behalf
Oh,
of
you
my
think people
people,
think facts are
the
boring?
Americans.
who's your who's your? I was gonna say
I'm
who's your
American,
people?
first and foremost, ma'am.
Okay. You think that they wouldn't watch facts? Isn't that the point of watching the news to
I
know
don't
what's
think that
going
that's why
on?
people watch it anymore. No, I think that people need help
Oh,
parsing things sometimes. Because there's a lot of things like if there were a story about if somebody had a story about the stock market and they were giving you facts and you didn't understand any of the like underlying basis of those facts, that you'd tune out, even if it directly impacted you.
they don't educate.
No, I
They don't
know, but
educate.
I
You
think that's probably where
that's
the whole
implying
thing
that the
started.
media educates. They
No, I agree, but I'm saying
sensationalize to
I'm
get.
sitting here in the middle ground with you. I'm making a middle ground here with you
Yeah.
where we're just talking about facts, right? But if they were just giving you those facts, even if it's something that directly impacted you, if you were not educated in whatever the topic was, it may go over your head. You may not even see it.
But education is facts too. You could educate people about the stock market.
But
It can serve two
what if
purposes.
that's where it
Support their
started?
high school class.
I don't
Oh, that's
know.
how they started it.
I'm
No,
not
I
old enough to
that's
speak
not
to
how
that.
that's not how it started. Seen that show where he goes around and he I can't remember the name of the movie, but he goes around to different towns. This is when it was only a newspaper, and he brought the news with him and shared it in like a sensational, outrageous, not outrageous way, but just in an animated way. And
I have
people
not
paid
seen
him.
this, but I want to. What is this?
It's a movie, guys. You guys
I'll
know.
bet you nobody in chat
Monique's
knows what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, guys, it's a movie. Yeah, yes. It was like a movie in the movie theaters
Oh,
during
it's
the
recent. Yeah,
pandemic.
I wouldn't know. Yeah, I haven't seen a movie in
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
6,000 years,
Can
it feels like.
you can see it other
No,
places.
and I
So
think just going back to the same there's like three things I talk about. And it's about incentives, right? So getting more people to watch. Yes, I'm pretty sure it was The Notebook. I'm
my
here with
God.
Jacob. Um it's about
Now,
incentives, and entertainment is a higher priority than anything, I think, in this country. Um, it's
because it
bread
provides
and
money.
circuses and all that. If we wanted to, hey, all right, Katie, will you stop that and stop instigating, please? It is not Frozen. We're trying to get down to business here.
It could be.
But but they
Darn it, it's
lose
a
the
movie.
incentive for being, giving us facts and letting it be earnest, right? That they lose that incentive. And
Yeah.
I feel like the media as we know it is like, and it happens to tie into what we were talking about, mainstream film, where the big studios and stuff, I think all of that's dying. Like we're seeing the fall of all of it because there's so much that we can ingest that's independently produced through people doing news independently or reporting on things that happen in their towns that we have exposure to because it's on the internet, as well as like small indie filmmakers, right, that are still getting exposure on platforms like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all that, where
Yeah.
more people have more opportunities and we have exposure to more things that eventually will probably see the death to some degree of movie. There will still be movie theaters because people still like
Yeah.
that experience.
I like. And you have to get away from your children
I mean, I
somehow.
totally
Yes.
relate to that. Which is that why I
I'm
don't
just
go see
saying.
movies in the movie theaters because I don't have children.
Could be. Yeah. Or like when I go to the movies, I get to sit in the movie, right? And nothing bothers me. There's no dogs, cats, animals. I have to take I don't look around and see piles of laundry I should be doing instead of watching the movie. This is why I enjoy the
Fair
movie
enough.
theater.
Fair enough. And I mean, I don't think that's something that will
But
die. But
right.
I think the model will change. It won't be you're only seeing mass produced products in
Yeah.
theaters. That slowly over time
My
you'll see
problem.
more.
Yeah, and they're already starting, right? Like movie and on HBO Plus.
Oh yeah, I mean, ask Scarlett
You know?
Johansson.
Yeah. Yeah. That's already started. I don't know what that
Oh, you
means.
didn't the Scarlett Johansson thing where they were gonna release the Black Widow only in theaters when she signed her contract, so she got a percentage of the theater ticket sales, and then they released it on Disney
And then
Plus and in theaters at the same time because of whatever
in
pandemic
theaters.
nonsense. But so she wasn't seeing anywhere close to the pay that she was promised.
But she should have got a
But it
percentage.
wasn't in the contract because it was
What?
not. So that's what the
That's
whole thing was about. Is it was kind of an unforeseeable thing because when she signed that contract, I don't even know if
that.
Disney Plus even existed.
Well, they should have. She should. I hope she
She
fought
did,
that.
and I don't know. I think she
Oh,
there she's willing to work with Disney. I
oh,
think
so
now,
you should.
so I think that there was something that
Oh,
was
okay.
resolved of it.
It
But
must have been
yeah,
settled.
hopefully over time we see less of that, and we just see a change in the model, and it will probably mean that A-list celebrities are being paid less, and that there's probably less of a giant pay gradient across the like acting spectrum and things like that. But I think everybody wins in a situation like that.
I've I have a lot of empathy for you, A-list celebrities.
Yeah, I mean, and you could make. I mean,
I'm
there's
here.
lots of
I'm
arguments to
here
make
for you.
against about deregulation and decentralization.
If you need a shoulder to cry on, A-list celebrities, right here. A couple things. One, it's called News of the World. It is a movie. Look it up.
Who
Two,
told you that? Did somebody
um,
tell you that just?
I
Oh, okay.
Googled it while we were talking. I got skills, dude. Also,
See, Katie
um,
knows.
my problem News of the World. See, you bringing it back to media. You can't believe anything. I believe nothing. Like nothing. That's where I'm
And I
at
feel like
right
that
now.
should.
I don't
I
believe
mean,
anything.
in the world we live in, where you have absolute ability, nearly absolute ability, to verify and to get alternate opinions and to find other sources, nobody should believe anything.
But all you can do is get yeah, all you can do, like even if I wanted to verify something, usually so if I have a one-sided thing that I'm trying to verify, I can only verify it with other people who believe that one-sided thing. It's hard to find a neutral party that is either both sides, like here's all the opinions about it, or here's all the facts about it. Here, make your own decision. You know what I mean? It's kind of like religion. Like every so many different religions use the same Bible, but have many different beliefs because they
Yeah.
interpret it differently, right? So a news media should be like the Bible, not like religion. It should provide the information. That was good, wasn't it? It's good. So they should be like they should be providing the information, the facts, even like both sides of things, and then you
Well, I don't
decide
think there's
based
a
on
see,
that
and that's the problem is
information.
that we talk about this like both sides of things, where there's not sides to reality. There's not sides to facts, right? And if they just reported on what it was, there wouldn't be a side. We wouldn't be talking about unbiased
Yes,
media. And when they talk about unbiased media, they're talking
correct.
about promoting both sides as opposed to removing them from it. Just like when they talk about bipartisanship in Congress, it's like, well, but there's more than two sides. We're all people, and we all have individual opinions, and they all differ. That's why you have to separate from it and just do facts, like you were saying. I just don't think it would be successful.
Yeah, I agree, but that's what makes me sad about our. So, that's what's so weird to me too. This like two sides of anything, or even religion, like picking something and saying, "Yeah, I am Democratic and I believe in everything the Democratic Party believes in. Every time something comes up, I'm voting Democratic." Right? Like, there's no way I believe the same as those people, like the exact same on every topic. There's no way. You're just, you're not, like, there's so many. It's like a rainbow. Like, it's not just a rainbow is not just yellow, blue, green, right? There's like the mix in between, right? Like, that's what the world is. That's why food.
Well, yeah, I mean, the people in power are the only ones who have incentive to create a binary, so that inevitably we are all at each other's throats. And let's leave it at that and go back to the wheel to wrap it up.
That's a perfect thing in the media one. Yes. Perfect. In the wheel.
And we've probably got to cut this one short a little bit, so hopefully it's not too exciting. And here we are at hold on. Good. Oh, okay. We landed on technology scalping that apparently I did not remove. So that's good. This will be a short one. So it's something I've experienced lately, and I put it on here because of this, is that I'm trying to buy a video card, right, for my computer, and there's been a shortage of video cards because of COVID and all that, as well as cryptocurrency miners needing graphics processors to do their shit. Whole other thing.
Cryptocurrency
miners.
Like, somebody mining for fake money. Okay,
well,
continue.
Yeah, we'll address that the future when we land on cryptocurrency. But this is about people buying, like, so if it's Christmas time, right, and a new video game console is coming out, and the video game console costs $400, but it's in limited supply. Scalping is the idea that everybody buys them up. Somebody buys, 7, 8 of them, and then sells them to people who can't get them on eBay for $1,400. So obviously that's, it's part of the system, right? Is that acceptable?
It's capitalism. Capitalism.
Well, my heart.
Is it the way I was saying it, or
what
I
you meant
was saying?
is what I'm cringing at.
Oh,
no, but I mean, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I feel like there are ways to handle it and ways to address it, because I feel like it dilutes a brand to some degree. Like, if you're Sony and you're selling your PlayStation and you end up having to buy a PlayStation you're buying a $500 product for $1,500, like, you won't value that product as much in itself because it costs too much. Like, you'll have higher expectations.
But then if you're Sony then and you care about that, you need to make more Sony.
Do you think that's one solution. Do you think it benefits the company to regulate sales in some way to be able to retain people who are loyal to your product?
I think each company is going to make a different decision. And it's a lot of companies some companies think short term, some companies think long term. Some companies probably have their little people, like, are the ones buying it up.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't really considered
that. Making their product, the name famous. Like, oh, this is really wanted. Look, it's selling for this much because everybody really wants this product. What a great product.
Well, that's I don't know that that's happening.
You didn't go down the whole people.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But so if you were the business and you saw this happening and you thought to yourself, well, nobody should pay $1,400 for this product, right? Because of what it is. Like, exactly what it is and what goes into it, and the profit you're making, would you take any kind of action to try to fix that? Or would you say, oh, we're making our profit on each unit, we don't have to worry about it?
Well, you're talking. So this is just obviously my
just you. Yeah.
I would obviously do something. To fix it, because I hate cheaters.
Well, and I think it benefits like the people who are buying your product, and if you want to keep people coming back, that.
Well, and I hate cheaters.
That's fair.
Cheaters.
Yeah.
Like you people who know your lane is ending and you still like out on the side of the road and try to cut in front of everybody.
You have no idea. There's a
Those
highway entrance. So when I leave home to go to work, it's on a 2-lane road. The left lane ends up becoming part of a highway entrance. It adds another lane on the right over the course of that. But there's everybody, and by everybody I mean like probably 20% of people, which is way too high, end up changing lanes last minute out of that freeway entrance. So I mean I get that. But
but those are the same people. It's the same people. That's all I'm saying.
They do limit supply to create.
So as a company, what can you do?
But if they limit supply, right? So if you're in a world where it's Christmas time and you want to buy a PlayStation for your kid, and you don't necessarily know any better, you know they want a PlayStation, but you also see an Xbox for the same price, but you can actually get it at retail price. Are you more likely to buy the Xbox or the PlayStation?
Enough to answer that question.
So Ayla wants a PlayStation. She tells you she wants a PlayStation.
If she specifically says I want a PlayStation, and I say, guess what? At St. Patrick's Day, Santa's going to bring your PlayStation.
There are much better things you can use, and I think you should get away from using Santa Claus as a representative of St. Patrick's Day.
Wait, what?
I mean, there are.
Do you mean Christmas?
No, I mean leprechauns are a St. Patrick's Day thing. Use that. Like, why does it have to be Santa Claus?
Yeah, except for because he was
but they can all be in together.
He was asking for Christmas.
I'm pretty sure all of them are fairy folk and they all work together, right?
You know I'm all for disrupting the system and not doing the status quo. So I am for it. That's why I say, if you are smart, let's say you're a single mom out there. This is off topic, BTW. If you're a single mom out there, do not celebrate Christmas on Christmas. Celebrate it 2 weeks later. Go buy a bunch of discount stuff. Boom, Christmas.
Yeah.
Make up your own holiday. Like, oh, sorry, we don't celebrate Christmas like that. We celebrate Christmas.
Well, I honestly like Valentine's Day is a great thing to do like a week early. It's a great thing to do a week early because what's really a date? Like, especially a date that has no value to me personally. Right? Like, it's not like anniversaries like we're celebrating. Right? Anniversaries are important. But like Valentine's Day, it's like, who cares?
Like our anniversary.
Yeah,
today,
that's...
Which is the 1-year anniversary of the show. We've been bringing empathy and humor for 1 year. You're welcome.
My eyes are getting exhausted from rolling.
Cece says, you can't always get what you want. Let's sing it.
But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need.
Oh, you get what you need.
Yeah, I think we can get away with that.
I don't know the beat. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Mo. Not really into Valentine's Day. Like, it's an excuse. It's just like I feel like, so I don't like birthdays because if you're only celebrating you're celebrating you being alive for another year, right? And if that's really what you're doing, you should be doing it all the time. If you're not doing it all the time, you're doing it wrong. So just like Valentine's Day, if you're not celebrating that, we'll go with the word love because
if you're not celebrating your love,
but if you're not celebrating it all the time, then are you really celebrating it?
Oh, preach it. So we have decided, as we near the end of this podcast, we should celebrate our birthdays and Valentine's Day every day. So I expect a daily happy birthday wish.
No, that's on you. You have to celebrate being alive.
You can't be it can't be birthday either because that's not your birthday. It has to be a yay, you're alive.
Well, I mean that's what we're celebrating on our birthday, right? Is we made it another year. We didn't die.
We're celebrating. No, we're celebrating the commemorative day of our birth. We're commemorating the day of our birth.
Yeah, because we didn't die. Do you have birthdays after you die? Do people do that?
I don't know what people do after they die because I haven't been there yet.
Okay, we'll have to have this conversation 40 or 50
I wonder if they
years down
celebrate
the
their
road.
death day. I wonder if they celebrate their death day.
I think in some cultures that's a thing. I mean,
The reincarnation. Oh, Day of the Dead.
no, I think
yeah. But that's on a day.
I don't know if that's a whole thing or a whole other thing. 4th of July fireworks show cost our town a lot less on July 2nd. Yes, here's to that. There's no reason not to celebrate things whenever you want. Like, time is relative.
Except neighbors. So if you happen to be watching this and you live near me, stop celebrating 4th of July on days that are not.
Okay, so if it was July 2nd and it was only July 2nd, that'd be fine. Let's just not make it June 25th through July 15th.
Yeah. Well, celebrate Christmas whenever you want. Celebrate Easter. Celebrate holidays, except New Year's and 4th of July, because y'all are loud.
It's like New Year's, I think, is a valid
some
celebratory
people
experience.
Oh, you think that one's a valid holiday because it's actually a particular day?
I think it's like there
hour.
could be argued. That's something I'd have to think about.
We're now discussing validity of holidays, people. That's what we're doing right now. And we have determined that New Year's is allowed to stay. All others must go.
Oh, and Katie said roses mean more when they cost 10 times too much. 10 times too much? Are you saying that roses cost too much in general?
No. On Valentine's Day, they cost 10 times too much.
Yeah, 10 times more than too much.
No, not 10 times. Not what she said. She said 10 times too much.
Which means one would be too much, and 10 times too much is what they cost.
Agreed. Okay.
Like if you want to have linguistic combat, I'm down. I do this at work all the time, and it's so much fun.
I'm sure people love it.
Not my victims.
Aaron.
And
Aaron has lots of coworker friends.
And Monique says, I like celebrating my birthday because I'm a Scorpio, and another year on this planet was a gift to everyone. You're welcome. Wow.
I feel like Virgos do that too. All the Virgos I know celebrate their birthday for the whole month. You know who's not going to celebrate another birthday? This thing.
Wow. So this was fun. This was a good time.
Yeah, I liked Wheel of
So
Randomness.
we are accepting suggestions for topics that are things that would be understood and known by the average person. Respect. Well, Jacob wants us to talk about adonitology.
I'd have to Google that. Yeah.
Donatology.
I don't know.
And the reason I told him to kick rocks is because it would take us 15 minutes of research just to even know what was going on. Like, we couldn't get a baseline, and it's not the appropriate time.
It sounds like... Do you want to know what I think it is? Because that's what I think we should talk about. I think it's a den for dinosaurs.
Oh, that is... Okay.
Don't?
Do you want to know what I think it is?
What?
I think it's the worship of the ideal male form. Like the worshiping of an Adonis
I'm sure you're
would be
right, but
Adonatology.
Mine's more fun. I'm sure yours is right.
It's not
so
right.
You can
it's 100% not right. I looked at it because he talked to me about it, and I was like, nah. Oh, wait. One of us got it right, I think. Uh-oh.
There's no way I got it right.
Oh my goodness! I just know that if
there's not dinosaur dentists.
Oh,
wait,
so we missed it. We're swinging hammers wildly around, and there are nails somewhere in the room. That's what we've learned. So
yes,
do we have something planned for next week? What's the dealio?
So no. But let me tell you, people, today was my last day of the job that sucks every ounce of energy, life, and beingness from me. And typically, I'm a really good guest and I have been not being a good guest getter because, again, the whole life sucking thing. So I'm on it. I don't know what we're doing next week, but I'm on the guest getting. I'm looking for nudists. I'm looking for aliens. I had 2 on the hook, but we lost
Cryptozoology
them.
now
I'm
we're
a bad.
talking about.
Aaron wants cryptozoology. Katie
Well,
wants a whole.
dogs
I
versus
mean,
cats is
it's a
going on the
dogs
wheel right
versus
now.
cats. Oh, okay.
Like that's not even up for debate. It's going on the
we
wheel.
can talk about those. Yes. So I don't know what we're doing next week, but we'll surprise you. But I will be coming at you from Hawaii, so we could talk about virtual life.
Or we could talk about our great extra states that aren't part of the Great 48.
Yeah, how we added Alaska and Hawaii just so we could round out our biomes.
Fucking wise ass. So we'll figure out what we're doing next week. But in the meantime, you guys have meaningful conversations.